Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to the Correct Views. This is a very important Correct Views. My wife is in the background. Do you care which one they pick?
No.
All right, this is up to you guys. It's not a matter of time. It's a matter of when you want your news. I need my regular listeners. I don't care. I have like 584 subscribers. It's not all that impressive, but they're loyal and I love them and I thank you for being here. I need you watching this to make a decision. Now, you guys on low def here, where I'm pointing at, this doesn't affect you at all. High def, where almost all of you watch up there, I need you to make a decision. I have video editing software. Thank you to he who wishes to be known as Steven for purchasing Adobe Premiere for the show. Click on the last show. I produced it. It's got like pop-ups and all kinds of cool. I can do a lot with it. The trouble is this: rendering time. If I give you high def, that's my channel up here. You guys on Media Speaks, you're getting to your news. Just freaking be patient. You guys, I'm kidding. You guys up here, you're going to get your news a half a day late if I produce it. But it's going to look amazing. It's going to look balls out, freaking amazing. Yes, I said it. Subscribers aren't surprised. Do you want the better production or do you want the show now, which you're going to get tonight? I need you to pick. You are my subscribers. You are the ones that click on this. It's not a matter of time other than the fact that you're going to get your news a tad late if you're not a subscriber down here where you should be, because you guys are always going to get it immediately. You're on the Media Speaks. You're one of the cool ones, and you're kind of the minority. David Blake has most of the subscribers on Media Speaks, which I'm happy for. My point is, Media Speaks, subscribe to it, but you on my channel, you got to make a decision. It's your call. I am your show. Friends, moving into what matters, Michael Snyder, economic collapse. 47% of Americans cannot even come up with $400 to cover an emergency room visit. Now, this was terrible for me to hear because, much like the person to whom I'm going to quote here, I have been this poor before. Long-time listeners know I admitted openly I've gone through a bankruptcy before in my life. Not because, yo, man, I was out buying bling and got to ride into the base. None of that. I actually went bankrupt trying to go to college. Not surprising to anyone, I'm sure. It's just day-to-day living expenses, overwhelmed, just a disaster. And I ended up having to go bankrupt. This matters because it's happening to a lot of people that didn't earn their bankruptcy. By that I mean, let's face it, we all know somebody that has screwed up so badly in life that they kind of deserve to have gone bankrupt. I mean, let's face it, we all have idiot friends, do we not? Do we not? Okay, I hope I'm not somebody's idiot friend, but I probably am. Not in this regard, though. I am guilty of many sins, but not so much this one. Just an idiot with money. Just no common freaking sense with money. And they kind of deserve to go bankrupt. Well, we're not going to talk about those people. Those people we all know are idiots. Let's really listen to this because 47% of our country are not idiots. Okay, and believe me, I work in a strip club usually. I know idiots. Jesus, you have no idea. 47% of the people that I work with are not idiots. Okay, and I work in a dance club. So don't give me this, everybody I know. No, really, take all the joking that's part of my show and all that. I love it. Take it aside for a second. 47%, damn near half of the country is who we're talking about. So we got our laughing, we got our joking, we got our voting over. Really listen to this. Really listen, please. If you had to make a sudden visit to the emergency room, would you have enough money to pay for it without selling something or borrowing the funds from somewhere? Most Americans may not realize this, but this is something that the Federal Reserve has actually been tracking for several years now. And according to the Fed, an astounding 47% of all Americans could not come up with $400 to pay for an emergency room visit without borrowing it or selling something. I'm going to go to screen share for those of you on low def. Those of you up top behind me is the fat cam. Let me tell you what. I've been in that boat. Okay, I'm a DJ in a dance club, so I get it. It could happen to me any day. DJs change like t-shirts. I've been a cab driver. I've been a telemarketer. I've been too poor to eat. I get it. Could be there tomorrow. 47%. Okay, now this is assuming that Obamacare is covering you or something like it, because emergency room visits are normally closer to $1,000, which I've seen firsthand, as in my hand. I've talked about it on other shows. I'm not going to again. It was about $1,000. And it wasn't even on a scale of what some people face all that bad. So, I mean, $400 is going to be the low end here. Various surveys that I have talked about, that's because Obamacare doesn't work. Various surveys that I have talked about in the past have found more than, let me adjust this mic, 60% of all Americans are living to paycheck. But I didn't realize, writes the author, that things were quite this bad for about half of the country. If you can't even come up with $400 for an unexpected emergency room visit, then you are just living and barely surviving month to month, skin of your teeth. Unfortunately, about half of us are currently in that situation. Friends, I've been in that situation. I'm one stupid song away from pissing off a manager someday and having it happen again. This, believe it or not, the show doesn't make a fortune. Hard to believe, I know. It could happen to damn near any of us, friends. They've outsourced everything we've gone to school for, haven't they? Haven't they? They have. They clearly have. NAFTA, great idea. Earlier today, he writes, someone pointed to an excellent article in The Atlantic, and a lot of this comes from Neil Gabler's The Secret Shame of the Middle Class. Listen to what he writes. He writes, this I know because I am one of them. I know what it's like to have to juggle creditors to make it through the week. It's happened to me before. I know what it's like to have to swallow my pride and constantly dun people to pay me so that I can pay others. I'm kind of doing that now with a house that I'm in. I know I had somebody steal something off of me. It wasn't due to something I did, but the point is I hired a really bad contractor and got hosed. So yes, I count in this. I know what it is like to have liens slapped on me and to have my bank account levied by creditors. Yes, but it doesn't anymore because I don't bank. Want to know how I get around it? Look up How to Live Without Banks Correct Views. It's free. Merry Christmas. I know what it's like to be down to my last $5, literally, while I wait for a paycheck to arrive. And I know what it's like to subsist on a diet of eggs. I do in a slightly different order because I was a cab driver, but yes, I do know what it's like. I know what it's like to dread going to the mailbox because we all know bills, of course. I know what it's like to have to tell my daughter, no, I don't have kids, but it must suck that you can't pay for their wedding. It all depended on whether something good happened. And I know what it's like to have to borrow money from my adult children. No, I don't, because I don't have adult children. But otherwise, how many of you have just heard the story of your lives? And I just told it to you. This is 40% of the country. So I'm speaking to about half the people here. And if you're not one of them, then make sure you hug your children tight and thank God greatly before you go to sleep. To me, he writes, it's more evidence that the American middle class is dying. And it says if you make under $30,000 a year, you are in some way likely impoverished, either in education, which I'm not. Well, I have an associate's degree, so you decide. Housing, no, I have a good house. Income, no, I'm under 30, but I'm okay. It's up to you if you want to say I am. Employment, I have a good job, but it's questionable as to its stability, even though I've been there a decade. Long story. DJ, and healthcare. Obamacare has destroyed my healthcare. Bam! My white privilege must have failed because I would be considered poor. I do not consider myself economically poor at under 30 grand a year. I don't. They do. I do not. I'm fine. I get to go to amusement parks. I get to go to concerts. I'm not poor. It's fine. I have been. Hopefully, won't be again. But I will concede to this. Healthcare, yes. When I freaked out my hand, it cost me about $1,000, and I not easily. It took a third of my savings. I had about $3,000 set aside from what I called it. We're gonna cuss here for a minute. The oh shit fund. It took about a third of my money away. I had $3,000 in it, lost $1,000, saved my finger, thankfully. Play keyboards like it never happened. Lucky me, really lucky me. If that was to happen now, after Obamacare has utterly set my premiums through the roof, I would not be able to do it at all. I would absolutely am healthcare impoverished. I'm not the worst because I have some healthcare, but I had good healthcare, even on under 30 grand a year. To be real, I had really good healthcare until this happened. To underscore this point, let me just, he says, run through a 5 quick facts growth that you may not know. In 07, yeah, I butchered that sentence, I know. In 07, about 1 out of every 8 children in America were on food stamps. Today, the number is 1 out of every 5. 46 million Americans use food banks each year, and the line starts forming at the U.S. food banks as early as 6:30 in the morning, which is a good time to go to bed, not get up, because people want to get something before the food supplies run out. Did you hear that astronomical number? 46 million Americans, friends. The number of homeless children in the U.S. has increased by 60% in the last 6 years. Thank you, Obama. You've been in there for 7.5. According to Poverty USA, 1.6 million American children slept in a homeless shelter or some form of emergency housing last year. Friends, that's the state of America as we live in it today. I spent a lot of time on that one, but we've got to go through these. I was going to give this the Dundee of the day, but I didn't want it to be laughed at so much as absolutely analyzed, because this woman's an idiot. Paul Joseph Watson writes this. It's from The Guardian. Correcting people's bad grammar is racist. Now, the argument that these idiots are making here is that white people created the rules of grammar. And since not all of us were privileged to go to their white colleges, then you don't have a right to criticize the way a non-white speaks. Now, first and foremost, I'd like to admit that I am racist to myself, because as you listen to this, my wife is probably bored out of her mind and listening to it downstairs, because she's listening for any blunder that I make so that I can put the notation and fix it, which happens all the time, in the comment line, in the description, before you guys call me out on my comment line, because I could say one thing wrong and I swear, blam! So she listens to them. So I must be racist because I often critique my own grammar. Having said that, I must be prejudiced against white people because most Germans are white. And my brother speaks the German language with at least a level of proficiency that makes some form of sense. What I do is pretty much destroy the German language. And those that speak German must have been racist against me because they will often correct my German so that when I at least do say something, I sound less like a dunderhead than I do now. That is called help. The English language, whether or not it was created by white people or not, is structured a certain way. You either do things the correct way or you do not. Many people of dark complected skin have created languages, African languages, which I don't even know the name of. If I try to speak them and I speak them incorrectly, I welcome you to tell me that I screwed up because I don't want to say it wrong. I want to learn the correct way to say it. This is destroying our culture and our language. That is why the urban culture, I'm not going to say black culture because Justin Timberlake is just as guilty as Drake, are destroying our music. Don't tell me I'm wrong because I'm white. I'm a DJ and I'm right. Regardless of whether or not it's Beyonce trying to rhyme hair with fur, her, whether or not it's Justin Timberlake with a diction of 20 words, whether or not it's Drake, whether or not it's Lady Gaga, we are having a language and cultural meltdown. Okay? Learn to speak and grow the language, because if they can dumb you down, then they can make you stupid enough to let them get away with anything. And who is the mysterious them? Those that keep dividing us on color and religion and all of this crap. That is why Mona Chalabi is an idiot. We're going to swear one more time. She is a fucking idiot. The Guardian's idiot, Mona Chalabi, says that correcting bad grammar is offensive and racist because white people are more likely to be concerned about bad grammar. Language structure is the basis to which society grows. The better that people speak, the better that they are understood. I shouldn't even have to say a sentence so stupid. The better you can learn to say what it is that you mean, the less likely you are to say something stupid. You can also go along the logic of the better you can control your temper. With me, it's not so much a lack of diction, it's a lack of ability to be able to put up with stupidity. So I end up saying something stupid. But a lot of people do not know how to say what it is that they want to say, even when they're not angry. And friends, I'm telling you, it's not racist to correct somebody if they say something wrong. That's ridiculous. That is a dumbing down of the culture and the structure of language within a society. And friends, they're doing it for a reason. And I guarantee that reason isn't the color of your skin. The color of your skin is what they're using to keep us fighting. ATR.org, Hillary confirms $1 trillion tax hike. Now, this doesn't really need a lot of attention given to it here. Hillary's idea, I think it's over 10 years. I don't know. Yeah, it's $1 trillion. The trouble is, because we have a stupid society, we have a society that doesn't really understand the amount of money that $1 trillion over 10 years is from the average working person. And since this is a 10-year plan, those of you that may be hearing this in year 16, this matters. It's going to matter. How much does it matter? 80%. Why do I say 80%? You're 16 to 26. 10 years, you'll be paying taxes during 80% of that from the time you turn 18. So if you're not so stupid, you can't figure out what 80% is, you're going to want to pay attention. I'm really not politically correct, am I? During an interview with the editorial team of the New York Daily News, Hillary Clinton, now yes, I was following stuff like this at 16, so don't tell me it's an age gap. It's not. Hillary Clinton admitted her tax proposals will increase taxes on the American people by at least $1 trillion over the next 10 years. That'd be a decade for you Usher fans. $1 trillion. And I'm going to put it on screen share. You guys can go ahead and pause it at will. But what she's trying to argue here is that the taxes are going to go towards your health care and your free education and your this and your that. Friends, this is madness. You buy your own health care for $1 trillion. I know it's broken down, but you get the point. $350 billion increase in income tax for a new college compact. Never mind that Obamacare has ruined your ability to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. You're still great at math. $275 billion tax increase for infrastructure. $400 billion in a fairness tax. Which, it's restoring basic fairness to the tax code, which pretty much involves raising the death tax. So when you die, your family doesn't get anything. Capital gains increase tax, tax on stock trading, and exit tax. $1 trillion. Okay, what's going to happen if I vote for Hillary Clinton? You're going to be $1 trillion poorer as a nation to have substandard, that is to say, piss poor health care. That's Hillary Clinton's great plan. Friends, you're listening to The Correct Views. Got 3 more stories to get to, brought to you by Sticker Junkie. Who is Sticker Junkie? It's Junkie. Go to Sticker Junkie and let them know that you heard about the show from The Correct Views on checkout. Type in Correct Views, type in The Correct Views. I don't know which one it is. It's probably both. You're going to get a discount just because you listen. You're also going to get amazing stickers. Now, I wouldn't tell you the stickers were going to look amazing because he sponsors the show, which David Blake does. If they didn't look amazing, I would have just turned the sponsorship down. They're going to look good. They do the stickers for my band. Our singer just sold some stickers today, made by Sticker Junkie. So make sure you check them out. And on checkout, say, hey, I'm a listener of The Correct Views. Friends, 3 more to get to. Dear liberals, this is Louder with Crowder. I do love this man. It's like non-gay man crush here. Absolutely love Steven Crowder. He's so talented, I never want to write again. Dear leftists who think all religions are the same, some religions are much better than others. His writing is so good that I once again want to go to screen share so that those of you can read the parts that I skip over. I don't just read the whole article. You got to go to it. But I am a political commentator. I'm not a reporter, so don't tell me I'm a terrible reporter. I mean, I am a terrible reporter, but I'm a damn good commentator. He writes, let me put it simply and spare you the task of reading the rest of the post. No, not all religions are the same. There, see, saves you a read. Yet every time a not Christian or not Buddhist blows something up or kills a bunch of people, the same leftist talking points flood the world with its Latin stupidity. It's not Islam that's the problem, it's all religions. The reasons, he writes, for such a statement or belief are twofold. 1, it's how leftists like you mount your moral high horses, which you groom with moral propensity. 2, always unsaid, you leftists are scared fetusless of Islam and want to toss all religions in it with on the side of not getting suicide bombed or decapitated or raped. Why does my computer always want to lock out when I'm on air? So what that means is they give a pass to every religion but Christianity. But they don't want to admit that the precepts of Christianity are what brings civility to at least most cultures through most parts of human history. Yes, there are exceptions. He writes, now a critical thinking individual sees that these 2 points are in opposition to one another. If all religions are just as bad, then one should fear Calvinists as much as Muslims. Yet, nope. Here's the dealio. You leftists, he writes, prove every day by your words and your deeds that you're willing to say about Christians and what you're unwilling to say about Muslims. That you know some religions are better than others. Look up Sarah Silverman's Caves to PC Speech Police. Fact is, no one is afraid of a Buddhist extremist shooting up your Christmas party. Anybody out there ever heard of a Buddhist terrorist? Nope. No one is afraid of literally losing their head from their shoulders for an unflattering portrait of Jesus. Unfortunately, that's deicide. Or any portrait of Jesus. You know why? Christians tend not to blow people up. I know, there's been a few abortion clinics. I get it. By and large, no. Buddhists aren't exactly known for shooting up parties. I mean, I'm sure one has at some point. It's really not their calling card. He writes, yes, I'm an unabashed Christian, and I don't hide that. I'm open about it. And I try not to incessantly proselytize. But Jesus is my Savior. Trivia: Jesus calls on his followers to love and serve the Lord. He does not call on his followers to kill the infidels, just so that we are clear. This isn't strictly about how Jesus didn't advocate for an extermination of the Jews. The fact is, different religions have had different effects on society, and measurable ones. Is any religious person perfect? No, because each of us are sinners. We're all hypocrites, religious or atheist, Scientologist or Christian, Mormon or Buddhist, Hindu or Muslim. All religious people are flawed because people are people. Got it? Good. But here's the truth that many people can't handle, and this is why I'm reading it to you, friends. Some religions are better for the world than others. I make zero apologies for it. Spoiler alert: Islam sucks hard, especially for those in its blast radius. The simple fact is that our purely result-based, very physical reality, religions have had a very different effect on society throughout human history. There's the good, the missionary work from the Christians in record numbers across the third world, current and in the past. And there's the bad, like the Inquisition, past. Or when Mary Tudor decided to purge her country of those pesky Protestants, and she's now known as Bloody Mary. Clearly, Christians have been wrong. Both in the very distant past, may I add. That doesn't excuse, he goes on, such barbaric behavior. Here's the thing. Muslim jihadis rape child brides and burn people alive in cages, as you can see the link. Not just several hundred years ago. That crap is happening now. Not back then, but now. So yes, there are some religions that are better than others. There's more on this in the article. I scrolled through it for those of you that are watching behind me or on FactCam. But listen, only one more paragraph here. Historically, early Christians faced opposition, and I'm not talking about Christians of old. I'm talking about all the way back to Jesus, bro, otherwise known as his apostles and disciples. See, if he had made that casual joke about Islam, what do you think Muslims would do to me? You're catching on now. Anyway, it's not just my biblical accounts of Jesus' own peeps that were killed, but corroborating historical events. All of the disciples were killed with the exception of John for professing their faith. Well, then there's Judas who hung himself. But let us note, Judas committed suicide. He took no one else with him. Jihadis, please take note. The other side, note, all religions are the same. Morons. How often have you mocked a Christian for being a Christian? How often have you mocked a Muslim for being a Muslim? Right. This game isn't T-ball, by the way. Totally keeping score, and you're losing. The article is worth reading, friends, but yeah, that kind of puts an end to the all religions are created equal thing. That's not true at all. If that was the case, then the suicide pacts of the comet watchers would be equal to that of Christianity. Come on now. Or Muslims. Get out of here. Buddhists don't kill themselves because of a coming comet. This is also PJ Dub. Professor calls for whiteness to be abolished. This is so stupid that I really don't have the energy in me to describe to you why it's stupid. So if you can't figure it out for yourself, God, I have no idea what to say. And I have no idea how anybody could be as stupid as you must be, but we're going to go with it. Portland Community College history professor James Harrison called for whiteness to be abolished during a talk he gave at the university's Whiteness History Month program. Now, isn't it interesting that if a person of color is proud of their heritage, they are normal. But if a white person is proud to be white and points to Thomas Edison, who never did anything to anybody, he's somehow racist. This is part of the divide and conquer mindset that we are seeing. And they're using color to do it. And this is another example. And color isn't the only one, but they're winning on it. During his presentation, this bonehead entitled Imagine a World Without Whiteness. Imagine somebody writing, imagine a world without blackness. I wouldn't like it, but imagine backlash there would be. Harrison argued that a world without conflict could only be achieved by eliminating whiteness from the power structure. What if a white person had said that about a Chinese person? That white person would be a bigot. You know what? I wouldn't like him either. My point is, this is what's going on. This is the war against white, which came out of nowhere. Because the people that are alive now have never oppressed blacks for the most part at all. Harrison failed to explain how white people are responsible for the conflicts caused by African Americans committing violent crimes at higher ratios than whites. Despite being outnumbered by whites 5-1, blacks commit 8 times more crimes against whites than vice versa, according to FBI statistics released in 2007. Harrison, it says, then goes on to claim that a poor white person is privileged because he isn't followed around in stores and treated like suspicion. What's interesting is I've always been followed in every store I've ever gone to. None of this stuff that they think happens to white people has anything to do with it. I love PJ Dub. He says, we need to dismantle whiteness and we need to dismantle it by taking personal action. Can we live in a world without whiteness? And his answer is yes, because it's happened before, and it all revolves around individuals taking small steps. PJ Dub writes, according to Portland Community College website, Whiteness History Month is an educational project examining race and racism through the exploration of a construction of whiteness. Professor Harrison and friends is a bigot. This is the kind of person that is human filth and is dividing us so that they can steal our rights, our language, as we've already gone over, and create a culture that would be susceptible to becoming the Dumdy of the day, which somebody is about to do right now. That's right. It is time for the Dumdy of the day. We got our Dumdy music here. Who gets the Dumdy of the day? I know you can't wait to find out. You're on the edge of your seat. Matt Lamb, College Fix. Universities offer privilege walk exercises so that students feel bad about themselves. Because we all know the point of college is to divide us so that the black man can hate the white man can hate the black man, the Mexican can hate the whoever they want to hate, because if we can divide us, we're set. We can conquer the idiots. Did your parents attend college? The article asks. You're privileged. You're not allowed to marry your cousin whom you love with, then you're not privileged. And that's the message of a wide variety of privilege walks at universities across the country. The University of Michigan hosts a privilege walk activity at Kent TIMPF at National Review noted in January. It instructs students to take a step forward if you can legally marry the person you love. Apparently, unaware that the only remaining restrictions on marriage in America concern marrying underage brides and incest. So Michigan is not alone in promoting the privilege walk. This is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Because there are no laws against marrying who you want to marry based on what color you are. But they'll have this kind of question. question, which is why they get the dumb deal today. They'll put it on a questionnaire, and people will be like, "Yeah, you can't marry a black girl; they're racist." You're allowed to marry anybody who you're not related to and who isn't a child. Friends, you're listening to The Correct Views, Social Justice Warriors. This is for you. It's brought to you by Change Transportation. If you really, really want to help out, you can do two things. One, you can get a hold of me at thecorrectviews@hotmail.com and tell me that you want to donate. Every penny you give to me goes towards a better show, and I can use it because these things cost a fortune to do. You can also call Change Transportation if you're going to go anywhere at all. Let them know that you heard about it on The Correct Views, and you're not only going to get a great fare, but you're going to get a better deal because you mentioned that you heard about it on The Correct Views. See how that works? Also, make sure you let me know. Do you want these produced high def and have it take a little longer, or you just want me to get these up? It's your call, friends. You're my subscribers. Good night. God bless.